We finally got long-range scanners partially online, only to find that the probable origin of the Kilrathi attack is a lot closer than we'd like. We are detecting at least one unknown contact in the system, but the damage to our sensors and enemy ECM is preventing us from getting an accurate reading on the size, strength, or precise location of the force in question. Unfortunately, if push comes to shove, we have no strike capability to counter a large enemy force as we unloaded our longbows to the Kennedy. We've sent a distress call to any nearby Confed forces, but there's been no response. We can only assume that any other vessels close enough to assist us have either been destroyed or did not receive our distress call through the Kilrathi jamming. With our engines partially repaired, we are still making time to the Eddings jump point. We can't outrun anything in our current condition, but with any luck, we can pursue a course that will allow us to evade the Kilrathi. We will launch all remaining fighters to escort the Wellington out of the system. Alpha will consist of myself and Sandman. Bravo will be Assassin and Ninja. Hubler and Floyd will be Charlie, flying Thunderbolts. Evasion is our best chance for survival, so we will take an indirect route to the jump point. We will escort the Wellington through navs 1, 2, and 3. The jump point out of here is at nav 4. It is likely that the Kilrathi will have some sort of capital ship at the jump point, so the Thunderbolts should try to save the torpedoes until then. There's no room for error, people. We are a damaged carrier with fewer fighters than a destroyer. We are a very tempting target for the Cats. Do all you can to make sure we aren't an easy one. Godspeed.
Exclamation, everybody, and welcome back to Wing Commander Saga. We're going to escort this old girl to a jump point.
You're cleared for immediate launch.
See, she's seen better days. Oh man, this is going to be a rough one, and I know this.
What is your current status? Hull integrity is screwed up beyond all recognition. Engines are less than 50% operational. Phase shielding is intermittent. Half our turrets are destroyed. Captured missile launchers are damaged. We still have some internal fires. You might as well give this old tub a new nickname. Maybe the TCS Bullseye or something like that. You know, as grim as this looks, I'm actually looking forward to the challenge. Stow it, people. This is serious, so act the part. Pulls up to escort formation and set course to nav 1. Thunderbolts, check in. I'm locked, loaded, and ready to go. The Dex did a good patch-up job. All lights are green. Peter was primed and ready. Good. Ninja, Sandman, Assassin, let's keep those Thunderbolts alive. We'll probably need their capital ship strike ability sooner than later.
Well, let's hope the toilets are still working, because we're about to hit a shitstorm here. I know this because I've played through the prologue before. This is going to be a rough mission, and there's a lot of problems that this shows that you'll see as we go. Probably continue into the game further.
Major, picking up an entire squadron of Darkins. They're running hot. Well, shoot. I was hoping we could get farther before they found us. Engage and destroy the enemy. Wellington, try to jam their comms. Maybe we can keep them from calling the rest of the Cats in on top of us.
Sounds like the voice actor had a bit of a sore throat when he was doing that. That's okay. Again, a game that is a labor of love here. Darkettes are the light fighters, so this shouldn't be too bad, but it also means that these are all scouts, so the enemy most definitely knows where we are at now, because they cannot get very far away from their carrier.
Destroyed. If they can spare an entire squadron of Darkettes for civil recon, the enemy presence in the system is probably even bigger than we estimated.
We can't confirm whether or not we could jam their transmissions. All fighters, be on guard. This is going to get interesting. Pilots, get back into formation around the carrier and activate your autopilot. We need to get out of here.
Proceed to next waypoint.
I'm right there with you, man. I'd like to get to this jump point as fast as anybody else would. Let's see what terribleness we have in store here. Escort missions are always the ones that you hate when you play these games. They tend to go on for a long period of time and be extremely difficult.
Vampire! Vampire! We have cap ship missiles inbound. We cannot sustain a single hit.
All units, destroy those missiles. None of them get through. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Watch your distance. If you're too close when you take out a cap ship missile, the shockwave will tear your fighter to shreds.
And this is the part where it gets really terrible.
Guardians must have got a signal through and called in the cap ship missile strike. That means all hostile forces in the system know where we are.
There's a cheerful thought.
Keep your eyes peeled. Those missiles had to come from somewhere.
All units, as soon as those missiles are destroyed, form on our side and set course for Nav 2. We have to get out of here.
These missiles are a real pain in the neck, especially with this HUD here. The ships are pretty good at shooting them down, but only when it's called for. As you can see, several have been shot down. But oh, I take that back. Several were not shot down. We got one that made it through there.
Dr. Wellington, she's going down. So, where do we go from here, Major?
Oh, I know where I'm headed. I'm headed to a continue screen.
That's the last of the missiles.
Let's get a move on it. There's almost certainly more trouble on the way.
Proceed to next waypoint.
Alright, I was finally able to get through those missiles. This is about the 7th run through now for me. Oh, this is the part of the game that is the most frustrating. This is why I actually threw the game on the shelf for a long time. Just because it gets to so annoying, these damn little missiles, and there's a lot of from what I understand, a lot of missions
all units,
like
the
this.
Kilrathi are putting a jamming field on us. Be advised, our long-range scanners have gone blank.
Bandits! Bandits! I'm reading fighters closing rapidly on our position.
You know what to do. Engage.
All right, let's get some fighters on here. This is a little bit easier than having to deal with freaking cap ship missiles, man. It just it annoys you after a while because, as I mentioned in a previous episode, there's no saving while you're in space, right? So when you fail a mission, you have to restart from the very beginning, and because all of this game's story is told while you're inside the cockpit due to engine limitations, I have to go and listen to those guys all the way through every time. It takes them 20 minutes to go through a spiel. I gotta sit 20 minutes before I can get back to the point I was at. So this is definitely going to be an interesting playthrough for me anyway. Hopefully you guys will...
All units, the jammer field is still on us. Return to escort formation and proceed to the next waypoint.
I don't like flying blind like this.
It's not like we have any other choice. Move out.
Proceed to next waypoint.
I don't like flying blind like this. Just shut up and fly. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Hopefully for you guys, it'll be exciting enough because I'll be cutting out all the times that I fail. But for me, it's going to be rough.
More bandits. Stand by to engage.
Major, we've got one destroyer closing in. Don't give it a chance to fire cap ship missiles.
All units, attack the destroyer. Turrets are a priority.
Should we use our torpedoes?
Not yet. Wait for a specific order to fire torpedoes. There may be bigger fish to fry out there. See if you can take out their missile launcher.
Consider that guy declawed. I hope you new guys remember how to attack turrets.
Oof. Oh, we're flying right into the sun here. Getting a very, very bright. This is actually
Watch out. He's right behind you.
There's actually a technique that they talk about in Wing Commander 1. I believe it's Paladin actually who talks about it, where the Kilrathi like to fly in with the sun at their backs because they know that it will blind the pilots flying at them. So it's so it's funny to see that actually translated here. I don't know if they did that intentionally or if it was just a happy accident, but it's funny to see that. As someone who's played pretty much all the games, there are a few games I haven't in the franchise I haven't played yet, but I not for the desire not to play them, just for the mere fact that I just don't have that kind of time yet. So as far as the war is going here, this is this war between the humans, the Confederation, and the Kilrathi has been going on for about 35 years at this point in the timeline. Very long, drawn out conflict. Most of that war was spent in a complete stalemate. You know, Confed would make a huge push and get knocked back. The Kilrathi, you know, they would make gains into Kilrathi space and then eventually get pushed back. The Kilrathi would make gains into human-controlled space and then eventually get pushed back to their lines. The lines moved, you know, over years and years. The front lines moved very little in the war. It's only recently, within the past year or so, that the Kilrathi are beginning to break the Confed's back. Oof, so many missiles here. That has pretty much everything to do with the Battle for Earth. The Battle for Earth was really a turning point where Confed got hurt pretty badly. We survived. Earth survived barely. A lot of Earth cities at this point were basically pulverized from orbit by the Kilrathi fleet, the Saga fleet, I believe it was called. They so what happened was, leading up to this, just prior to the Battle for Earth, was the events of, I believe, Wing Commander Special Operations, Special Operations 2, when the Kilrathi were having a... oh, crap. Oh, I'm going to have to start this mission all over again.
So, where do we go from here, Major?
Haven't figured that out yet.
I will return to you guys. Alright, I'm back. Let's see if I can do better this time. What was I talking about? Oh, there we go. Yeah.
That was good job saving our bacon. That was a close one.
Wellington, what's your status?
As well as anything could be. Our engines took a few hits, but we're still okay.
Very well. We can jump out at the next nav point. All fighters return to formation and set autopilot.
Proceed to next
Oh,
waypoint.
gladly. Not even going to tell you how many times I've redone this mission. And unfortunately, the Wellington's at 44% hull, so it's... hopefully we can squeak by at this next nav point here. This should be the final nav point, if I remember correctly. I think there's 4 nav points, and I think this is the... yep, nav 4.
Well, I think we just found out where all those fighters were coming from. We've got 2 enemy cruisers blockading the jump point.
Wellington, can your shields withstand a barrage from the cruisers long enough to jump?
Unlikely, Major. Our base shields are operating at partial power only.
That means we need to take those cruisers down. Kubler, Floyd, you are clear to use those torpedoes.
But Major, we barely have enough torpedoes to take down one of the cruisers. And that's if we hit it just right.
We'll take the other one down the old-fashioned way.
Well, we'll certainly try to. We'll see about that. I'm just going to focus on the fighters because it's firing on the cruisers is just going to be an exercise in frustration here. I mean, it's, well, I mean, I could try doing some strafing runs here, but usually it's very difficult to actually make any dent here. I'd like to try to knock out their torpedo launchers, cap ship missile launchers, but it's, you have to get it just right, and I'm not that good a pilot here. Maybe I can knock out some of their engines and slow them down, but it's going to be a rough one. Anywho, what was I talking about before? Oh, there's...
We can't afford to lose the other Thunderbolt. Provide cover.
Yeah, whatever. I do what I want, Wing Commander guy. Oh yeah, I was talking about the Battle for Earth and how we got to where we're at now. So Wing Commander 2, Special Operations 2, I believe it was, happened. The events of that happened just prior to the Battle for Earth, a few months prior, I believe. And in that, it was
We've lost both the Thunderbolts. Major, what should we do?
Wellington, you're going to have to try to run the blockade. We'll try to drop fire from the cruisers.
That won't give you much time to land.
We'll do what we have to do. We'll try to do emergency landings as the Wellington jumps.
What about Hubler and Floyd? They've ejected. They're still out there.
We have no means of retrieving them, Sandman. There's nothing we can do. Wellington, if you're going to do this, we need to do this now.
Major, our engines are overheating. Must be the damage from the last attack. We'll push it as hard as we can.
Roger that. Just hang on a little longer.
So the let me get my head around it here. The events of Wing Commander Special Operations 2, we go after the Kilrathi, the Confed does, and breaks up one of their religious ceremonies near Fireca. In so doing, the idea was that we would demoralize the Kilrathi.
All units, our engines have blown out. We're losing thrust.
Wellington, the cruisers are closing in on you.
Copy that, Lieutenant. Try to buy us some time.
They had that coming to them right now.
So in the wake of that morale hit that they took, the Kilrathi offered an armistice. Confed, of course, accepted it and started to mothball the fleet because they didn't need all those ships yet. The Kilrathi, in the meantime, in secret, built up the Hakaga fleet, which was a fleet unseen before in the galaxy.
In range. We can't get clear.
Wellington Control, you've got to do something.
We're trying, but no luck. We're abandoning ship.
What about you, Wellington Control?
This rust bucket's finished. Good luck, Major.
No, we made it so far. How could this be happening?
Sandman, stay focused. We need to buy time for the crew of the Wellington to abandon ship.
So, where do we go from here, Major?
Haven't figured that out yet.
So this Hakaga fleet jumped right through Confederation space, through the Sirius jump point. They killed billions of people in Sirius, and then used that jump point to jump into Sol, into the Sol system. Got as far as the orbit of Earth when they finally reached the main Confed resistance force. Confed was able to destroy and beat back the fleet, the Kilrathi fleet, but not before several of the major cities on Earth were bombarded with antimatter torpedoes, basically leveled. And the losses to the fleet, to Confed's fleet, were so extensive that from that point forward to where we're at now, Confed has basically been losing the war for the better part of the 9 months to a year since that happened. And I think this is about 9 months after it, if I'm not mistaken. this is also a time period when
This is the TCS Wellington. Position Mayday. Mayday. Mayday.
Unable to complete mission.
We got the Wellington! She's going down!
Did any shuttles or life pods get out?
Scanning. I can't see any, sir.
They're all gone. We're stranded here.
Major, what's our options?
I don't know about you, but I'm not prisoner material. Especially considering what the cats do to captured pilots. I'm planning to go out with a bang.
I'm with you, Major.
Count me in.
Let's do as much damage as we can.
Okay then, let's get this show on the road, folks. All units, follow me.
well, we go down fighting, huh? And to think to get this far, get right up to the jump point, and then and along those same lines, like I just bought them, I don't know, upwards of 2 minutes to eject, and to abandon ship, and you're telling me that nobody abandoned ship at all in 2 minutes? That's a little ridiculous, but okay. It's a plot point, I suppose. It's not a huge loss if it wasn't a complete loss, I guess. Oh. So yeah, at this point in the history, the main star of the Wing Commander series.
Two more cap ships coming through the jump point. The big ones, too. Wait, IFF raises Confederation. They're friendlies.
Say again?
Capital ships coming through the jump point are friendlies. We've got 2 cruisers coming out of the jump.
Wellington pilots, where the heavy cruisers Dover and Juno responding to your distress call. What's your situation? Over.
This is Major Boss, Senior Flight Officer. The cats already got the Wellington.
I see we were too late. Were there any survivors?
Just us and 2 other ejected pilots.
Wellington pilots, stand by. We need to clear this jump point of the Kilrathi presence. All batteries, open fire!
Yeah, rip those flea bags apart!
Well, now we get to see a light show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just gonna kind of sit back here a little bit. I don't want to get in their firing solution, because that would be most certainly unwise. Yeah, just ripping through those cruisers there. Yeah, at this point, the main character of the Wing Commander series, Colonel Christopher Blair, he is actually on medical leave because he fought in the Battle for Earth and was injured severely enough that he had to, spend 6 months or 9 months or so recovering from it. So when you start Wing Commander 3, Wing Commander 2, he was a pilot on the TCS Concordia. When you start Wing Commander 3, you find the Concordia crashed on Vespus off the Minstrel Coast. And the reason he wasn't on it is because he was injured. He was on detached duty. So that's how that was explained away, and that's why also in Wing Commander 3 he ends up getting transferred to the Victory, but there's other reasons for that as well. Rather than continuing to fly off of the Concordia, which, at this point is just a wreck. So he was actually part of the survey team, the search and rescue team to try to find them. And you see that at the very beginning, in the very beginning cutscene of Wing Commander 3, where he's there with Paladin, chatting about things. All right, these cruisers have done a nice job here with these cats. So almost have this place cleaned up.
Don't mess with us, furballs.
All right, let's watch the Kablosion. Ah, it's a beautiful sight.
What do you know? Against all odds, we have lived to fight another day.
I guess the Grim Reaper didn't have our names on his list today.
We lived, but We're the only ones. Everyone else, they're all gone.
I know, man. I know. I feel bad for them too. But the way I see it, the universe has just given us a gift. We can either focus on what we've lost, or we can focus on what we've been given. And we've each been given another day. You don't have to feel guilty because you lived.
You all performed admirably today. I couldn't have asked anything more from you.
Attention Wellington pilots. Once you guys set down, we'll pick up the ejected pilots and then be jumping out. We'd like to do a clean sweep of the system ourselves to take out any stragglers, but we've taken too much damage. We've transmitted a request for reinforcements to make sure Oberon is free of any Kilrathi activity.
Copy, Dover. We've done all we can today, pilots. However, I have the feeling it's only just begun. Pilots, initiate landing pattern.
Alright, let's land on the TCS Dover. It's a good thing they were here. Otherwise, this would have been a this would have been a very long mission as we just kind of sat around and shot up Kilrathi who were around.
This is a dark day, Sandman, but you can't blame yourself for what happened. The Kilrathi cruisers came too close for us to save the Wellington in time. Loss is part of this war, Sandman. You unfortunately have just borne witness to a scene played out all too often in this damn conflict. Confed Intel is going to want to hear about this, and they usually don't want to hear it just once. Get some rest. You will need it.
Fort Crockett, Vegas Sector, Vegas System. Vegas System is the capital of Vegas Sector. And we have reached the end of the prologue. We will, however, continue with the main storyline, and we'll see what happens to Second Lieutenant David Markham. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.